How Swart's and Nafousie's work called to me and how it pertains to acupuncture was in 4 ways. Number 1, Swart explained that she was interested in visualization and manifestation, but at the time, the explanations centered around quantum physics, which were unconvincing to her and unsatisfying to her, since if quantum physics was the mechanism, it was out of her control.
But until I started looking into the cognitive science behind it, all the explanations so far had been to do with quantum physics. And for me, as an empirical scientist, that wasn't enough for me to believe in those things. And equally, I felt very disempowered by the fact that it was happening because of something outside of me. I wanted to feel like it was happening because of my brain power and that I had some autonomy over it.
And do you believe, based on the research that you've done, that you attract things into your life because of your brain power?
I believe it 100%.
In the same way, the profound change acupuncture had on my health and was having on my patients' health was convincing, but I needed it to be more evidence-based and reproducible. This sent me on my mission to closely follow the evolving science behind acupuncture and eventually write a book on the subject. Number 2 was that our shared experience of the effect the science had on readers. Pay attention to what Swart says here.
When the book came out, people that I knew personally who were not scientists at all said, I've always been interested in this, but I've never actually acted upon it because I couldn't understand how it worked. But now that you've explained the science, I'm actually doing the steps that, I've heard of before actually, but that you've repeated in your book. So the writing process did bring it together for me quite a lot, but it was actually the response from other people. So it started with people I knew. And then it started on social media, just being thousands of people that I will probably never meet in my life saying, because you've put the science to it, it's completely changed my view of these topics.
This is exactly the experience I've had with my book. People who would have dismissed the idea of acupuncture as placebo or wishful thinking now see it as a new science-backed way to live and can use it in their life. Because we live in a modern evidence-based society, the scientific backing is crucial for most people to be able to really accept these 2 useful practices since they fall outside of the mainstream. Number 3, I also wanted to highlight Swart's concept that decreasing stress is not only good for your health, but also will help you to flourish in your endeavors and reach your higher potential. When stress is high and vagal activity low, she says, you're in survival mode, so you don't access higher brain functions, such as creativity or flexibility of thought. Similarly, with acupuncture, lowering your stress, you sleep better, digest better, and have overall less inflammation. But also, with higher vagal activity, your prefrontal cortex, the executive portion of your brain, keeps you on track with your habits and priorities. Stress has to be tamed, and acupuncture is a great way to do it, though there are many other ways to achieve it too. Here's Swart on the topic.
Think of the highest functions of the brain. Thinking creatively, thinking flexibly, solving complex problems, overriding our biases, regulating our emotions. How are those going to serve us now that we're just trying to survive physically? We don't need those things. Don't send any blood supply to those higher functions. Bring it right down to get up in the morning, go and sit at your desk, look like you're doing your job, even if you actually can't really do it. This is the reason that presenteeism costs businesses more than double what absenteeism does. In that low power mode, it'd be better to stay at home for 2 days and recover, and then come back to work and actually function and, work with your team.
Because stress impairs the higher functioning of the brain.
It just moves the blood supply away from it because you're not going to give up your precious resources for functions like that. And just to put that into context for you, Mel, the brain is a tiny organ. It's a tiny percentage of your whole body, like maybe 2 or 3%, but it uses up 20 to 30% of the breakdown products of what you eat.
The number 4 parallels from Roxie Nafousie, another author who writes, magic happens when you're out of your comfort zone. This is a crucial concept in manifesting since it implies action and not passivity. Similarly with your health, you need to consistently apply small challenges to your body and brain, not get too comfortable if you want to have a long and robust life. Exercise, time-restricted eating, stretching, and acupuncture all provide this healthy process called hormesis. So we can't just write down what we want and expect it to happen, nor can we sit at home and expect to be our healthiest. I love sharing tips on how to harness your body's own resources, and visualization and acupuncture turn out to have much more in common than I would have thought. Thanks for watching, and please leave comments on your experiences below.